Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a great Saturday so far. It has been a wild week of weather in the Carolinas. So let's kind of talk about what today is going to be. So we have a hot and humid day. We have sky conditions returning kind of back to normal, sunshine returning. Some clouds were mixing in earlier, but you can see a really nice shot there from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Our high temperatures today will reach the lower to middle 90s, so similar overall to yesterday. Our high yesterday was 93, and we hit a heat index around 101 at the Charlotte Douglas Airport. I think today we could get close to the upper 90s to lower 100s again today. So if you're planning on being out and about, pool, taking a walk, working out, whatever you got going on here for your Saturday, just remember that it is hot and humid. It's been really muggy recently, of course, with the rainfall too from Debbie, but we really haven't had the combination of the heat as well. So it might be a little bit of a shock to the system. Maybe it already was getting out and about yesterday, but after tomorrow or today, tomorrow should feel a little bit more comfortable just because temperatures will drop back into the 80s and we'll have slightly higher humidity levels. So that'll be a small change out there. We do have most areas dry out there right now. Still some flash flood warnings for areas to our east, but nothing across the Charlotte area as of now. We did have some rain though earlier this morning in eastern parts of Gaston County, northern Mecklenburg County. So you might be waking up to some areas of some spotty showers and things of that nature, maybe causing some slick spots on the roadways as you start off the day. Here's Futurecast by the time we hit the afternoon, a few more pop-up showers and storms, but today's rain chances are really sitting only about 20 to 30% at a maximum. I think after 4 o'clock, we get to 20, and then by the time we hit the evening and overnight hours are actually closer to 30 to 40. You can see some of our heaviest rain comes around 10, 11 o'clock tonight. This has been relatively common this year so far just because of all the heat and humidity. It can prompt some of those later storms and they can kind of back build and train and continue through the overnight hours. So at least a lot of our rain is happening while many folks will be asleep. But if you are a late stayer upper or an early riser, you might see some of that rain overnight. I'll probably see some when I'm waking up tomorrow around 3. We'll probably see some of that rain still lingering. Sunday morning, we'll start off with areas of patchy fog, mainly in spots that see rain today. And then it's much drier by the afternoon. In fact, I have 30% today, but only a 20% chance of rain for Sunday. You can see a lot of those storms will stay to our south and southeast, so towards southern Lancaster County, maybe even southern Chesterfield, and then over east, really east of Raleigh, closer to the immediate coast. Now, nobody needs rain really in the Carolinas after what we saw with Debbie, but we will have, of course, these pop-up storms, which means any area that sees rain will have at least a low risk of some isolated flash flooding. You can see a few more storms even again overnight into Sunday, Monday, and then we're even drier by Monday. So next 3 days, we're about 30%, 20%, and about 10% with our rain chances. So we know hot and humid. We know a few spotty storms today. Feels definitely more summer-like here in the Carolinas. Coming up here, we'll have the hour-by-hour forecast, which you'll be able to see those temperatures. Again, today reaching the low to mid-90s, tomorrow upper 80s to near 90, with, again, those low-end chances for rain. After we look at this hour-by-hour, I am going to show everybody a view of what's going on in the tropics because we do have a few more areas of interest to watch. I know that is not music to a lot of people's ears, but it is what we have. It is hurricane season. About 90% of our activity in the Atlantic does actually happen after August 1st, and the peak is September 10th. So what is going on? Well, Debbie is a post-tropical cyclone. The center is in Canada, so the National Hurricane Center is not issuing any more advisories on this. You can see that system continues to push off to the north and east, Canada into Newfoundland. That's where the center of circulation is now. So Debbie, out of our minds. We have another area of interest to watch. This has now been dubbed Invest 98L. And what an invest is essentially, I guess, a fancy term, whatever you want to call it, for an area that the National Hurricane Center is watching, an area that we can send hurricane hunter planes into. It is a little bit more organized when it gets an invest. Another good thing here, too, is once we have it named as an invest, we can start to get data in, tropical spaghetti plots. Y'all have seen them. You know, part of the good thing about the internet is that we can get easier weather access to you, maybe some not so good things sometimes. So a lot of those spaghetti plots are available, to anybody. And then, of course, can't doesn't know how to read them. But anyway, we'll get to that later. So Invest 98L, it is the center of circulation out in the central Atlantic. It's a tropical wave, which means there's no close center of circulation. It does not have tropical characteristics yet of a depression or storm. Right now, the NHC is giving it an 80% chance that it will get a name in the next 7 days. Remember, this used to be 2 and 5 days. Now it is 2 and 7 days. So that's a high chance over the next week. Now, most of the ensemble models that we have are showing the center, if this system were to develop, staying off the coast of the United States. Now, we know that that can change, so it's still something to watch really closely, just something we're monitoring. But a lot of those trend east, which I always like when things are trending the same way. We'll just have to watch to make sure that those trends do continue. Something else I want to show you is the two deterministic runs from the European and the American model. The difference between ensemble and deterministic is an ensemble run is essentially taking the same exact run, changing 52 different characteristics and running it again and seeing how those characteristics will change the eventual track. A deterministic run is a run that happens every 6 to 12 hours, depending on the model, and it can sometimes be drastically different from trend to trend. But again, what we watch is trends. If things are consistently saying east, consistently saying west, that's always a good sign. These are the two model comparisons as of this morning. So again, we still have about a week to watch it. We still do need to keep a close eye on it. Anything that comes this close to the US, we have to watch. And depending on if it stays offshore, but it gets semi-close, we know that we can have dangerous boat conditions, beach conditions, beach erosion, things like that near the Carolina coast. Even storms hundreds of miles off the shore can impact even just the coast, especially because that little spot near the Outer Banks does jut out. But again, it's a positive to see the storm, at least so far, looking like it'll stay offshore. Again, this can change. Just make sure you're keeping a close eye on the forecast. We'll, of course, have updates all throughout the week. Next storm name up on the list is Ernesto. It has happened multiple times since 1976, but has never been retired. So remember that these names do get reused every 6 years unless they are retired due to significant damage, significant fatalities, things like that. So we've seen Ernesto a lot, a lot, a lot. It's a fun name, right? This clicker is just not liking me today. If you guys were watching the show, it completely crapped out on me during the first weather. Okay, so let's wrap up, shall we? Next 7 days from Guy Roofing. Today, hot and humid, temperatures reaching the lower 90s. We'll see heat index values peaking in the upper 90s to near 100. Tomorrow, closing ceremony of the Olympics. Really sad to see it end, but the United States and all the awesome athletes have been really, really fun to watch. This is one of the Olympics that I've had the most fun watching, I think, probably since I was a kid. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching it too. Only a 20% chance of rain tomorrow, or mostly dry on Monday. And then we do keep pretty low in rain chances much of the week. It does look like those could ramp up a little bit by the time we get toward the weekend. But again, a lot of that will probably slightly change depending on, tropical moisture off our coast. We know can impact that as well. I will leave you again with a high chance of development of the tropics. It is still thousands of miles away, just something to watch. Next storm name up on the list is going to be Ernesto. Kaylin and I are back tomorrow from 6 to 7. I know the past few weeks have been a little bit crazy, with the schedule being different because of the Olympics, but we do have an hour show tomorrow. And then we have our normal show times, which is 6 to 7 on Saturday, 8:30 to 10 on 8:30 to 10 on Saturday, and then 6 to 8 on Sunday, and then 9 to 10 on Sunday, starting next weekend. So just know that tomorrow, at least for our weekend morning show, is the last day of this weird schedule we've had as of late. But of course, we hope you watch WCNC tonight at 6 and 7. And of course, we have the last day of Ozone. So it'll all be really, really cool to see. And hopefully you're watching the closing ceremony tomorrow. I'm sure Caitlin and I will be in here looking at that before our show starts. So again, hopefully you'll join us tomorrow from 6 to 7 a.m. Hope everybody has a happy, healthy, safe weekend ahead. And if you were impacted, of course, by the flooding, hopefully a lot of this sunshine today will evaporate some of that moisture. Of course, as always, questions, comments, concerns on the forecast, feel free to email me, send me a message on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Always here to help, always here to bring you hopefully the most accurate forecast in an engaging way. Have a great rest of your Sunday, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.